So the NBA media is absolutely cooked. And I'm going to be honest, like, I think if you want to listen to somebody belittle the NBA, that's fine. Like, if you want to listen to someone talk about how bad every single player is instead of watching basketball, that's actually fine. I've got no issue with that. But the NBA is the only league that will genuinely, instead of, you know what, let's just try to make this as positive as possible. Let's try get analytics. Let's try bring people in. They are actively employing people to do halftime shows on games that are effectively saying, turn this off. This is terrible. Every single time it cuts to inside the NBA, they are basically telling you guys to turn off the TV. I've never seen anything like it. Like, these guys are being paid millions to actively diminish the product. So, Charles Barkley, the Lakers are the 4th seed or something in the West. Are they 4th or 5th seed at the minute? They did have a bad loss yesterday, in fairness. They had a bad loss yesterday at the end of the game. And he's there talking about how they suck. Like, there's no other sport where you'd be allowed to say that. Even about relegation teams in football. You can't just say a team stinks. Sorry, they are now the 5th seed. Or the 6th seed because they lost. If they won, they would have been the 4th seed. But they're half a game off 4. So, yeah, they're fighting for the 4th seed. They're fighting for home court advantage. And it's just, yeah, these guys stink. And the worst part is about this is that at halftime. So at halftime in the game, this is a ball game. Like, the game's nowhere near over. This is a ball game. And LeBron has one of the best the dunk of the season. A madness. Like, for a 40-year-old, I'm sorry, for a 40-year-old to be able to do this is crazy. Is absolutely crazy. He just did a switch hand windmill poster on Derek Lively. Derek Lively wasn't even born when LeBron made his NBA debut. Like, Derek Lively was not born when LeBron played his first game, and LeBron just did a switch hand reverse left hand windmill. And one of the craziest plays. And what does Charles Barkley say at halftime? Stop showing that clip. Stop showing that play. We don't need to see that. It is probably play of the year. But yet, you've got the people meant to promote the game talking about it, saying to stop showing it. And then TNT at halftime decided to start showing Michael Jordan highlights. Why are they showing Michael Jordan highlights? The Lakers are playing the Mavs. Why are they showing Michael Jordan highlights? I'm sorry, why? What is the point? And whatever about, on a debate show, debating Michael Jordan, LeBron James, it is what it is. It's a debate that's never going to end. Even when LeBron James retires, they're still not going to shut up about it. But, like, you have got a situation where during a game, they're not talking about the game. They're not talking about the game. They talking about 40 years ago. 40 freaking years ago. They are talking about. Like, it's mental. They're showing plays from 30 to 40 years ago at halftime. Inside the NBA needs to go. And by the way, Kenny Smith, fine. Ernie, fine. Him and Shaq are two of the worst people for promotion in the NBA. And by the way, I'm not saying they're not entertaining. I'm not saying that Charles Barkley and Shaq shouldn't have their own show. I'm not even saying that Inside the NBA should be gone as a show entirely. But don't show it at halftime during a game. I'm sorry, like, we can't have, like, the NBA is always going to tank when during games, people are sitting down to watch the games and they're being told, this sucks. And they're being told everyone sucks. These players all suck. Everyone sucks. The best players in the world, they suck. You know, Victor Wembanyama, a guy who's on a GOAT trip, who literally has a possibility of being the greatest player of all time. You know, Wemby sucks because he shoots too many threes. He shoots near 40% from them. Why wouldn't he shoot the three? I'm sorry, like, it's like, oh, you know, he doesn't play in the post. But it's like, why would he be Zach Edey? He's not Zach Edey. He's 7'6" Kevin Durant. Why would you want him to be Zach Edey? But then people have problems with Zach Edey too. Like, Charles Barkley's out here saying the Houston Rockets, one of the few, like, kind of gritty, we play defense teams, don't know how to play basketball. They play basically the way that you want them to freaking play, Charles. Celtics, one of the best teams ever last season because they shot so many threes and made so many threes. I'm sorry, like, it's not the current NBA fault, Charles, that they realized that, you know, threes are worth more than twos, and layups and dunks are worth more than mid-range shots. So how do we score as many points as possible? We try to shoot the shots that are worth the most. We shoot as many threes as possible. We don't go inside out, because if we go inside out, it allows them to kind of guard easier. The back to the basket post up is not that relevant a shot anymore. We go outside in because they have to defend us out. It means we can burn the players, because NBA players are too athletic, and they even were back in the day, and it's just go to the basket and dunk. I'm sorry, like in the days of Michael Jordan, if Michael Jordan played with Kristaps Porzingis at center instead of Luke Longley, and as good as Dennis Rodman was, if he played with, I don't know, let's just say Cam Thomas. Not Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson. If you go Kristaps, Cam Johnson, Jordan Pippen, and give them Ron Harper. Like Jordan, they played 5 out. Jordan would have a layup in every single possession because no one would be able to guard him. Like, the reality of the situation is that it's hard to debate eras because tactically they're so much better now. But you've got somebody basically just who is talking at halftime, just shitting on the NBA. And like, we have got one of the best rivalries, what could be one of the best rivalries. Heck, in the last week, the Jokic versus Victor Wembanyama matchups have been insane. They have been absolutely insane. Like, it is the best player in the world by... you know what? I'm not going to say by quite a bit because Giannis Antetokounmpo is right up there with Jokic. The best player in the world in Nikola Jokic coming up against the future best player in the world, barring injury, touch wood, Victor Wembanyama. And both of them have showed out twice. Jokic averaged like 40. Wemby then blocked Jokic for a game winner in one of them. One of the games was decided near the buzzer. The other was decided in freaking overtime. Like, you have got these two elite players who put up 2 unbelievable games against each other back to back, and not even a mention of that ever from the Inside the NBA crew. It's just, let's just shit on the NBA. That's all they want to do. That is all they want to do. All they want to do is talk bad in the NBA. And I'm sorry, like, if we're going to talk about, like, them, imagine, hypothetically, like, the worst part is that back in the 90s, Will Chamberlain was talking about the likes of Charles, the likes of Jordan, just like they're talking about players now. Will Chamberlain was talking about how soft they were. Will Chamberlain was talking about how his era was so much better. Do you want to know what the difference is? Will Chamberlain wasn't being put front and center every single night and being considered a representative of the league. Like, Inside the NBA is a fine show. You can have a show just belittling a product. I mean that. You can have a show just shitting on things. There's plenty of them. Everyone, like, there's an audience for everything. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. If that's what TNT want to show, that's what TNT want to show. It is what it is. I have no real issue with it. But the NBA cannot allow this happen at halftime. Because imagine, you're in halftime of a game, you're watching, you've seen this crazy play by who is one of the best players of all time. And then suddenly you hear, the first thing you hear at halftime is, stop showing this replay. Stop showing this. Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And... man, you've got Shaq there with a 20-year-old beef with Dwight Howard that he won't shut up about. Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then worst of all, in the middle of a game to randomly start showing highlights, TNT showing highlights from 40 years ago. No wonder the game's not going to grow. And ironically, people are like, oh, the ratings are bad. The ratings are only down in America because, if you're outside America, you don't have to listen to this shit. You don't have to see Inside the NBA. You don't have to see people constantly belittling the product. You don't have to see a running director's commentary telling you how bad the game you're currently watching is when you're not in America. Which is hence why the ratings are booming. Other than that, because the product's actually pretty damn good, regardless of what people want to say.